Pelajaran nomor 78. Hello listeners. Hari ini pelajaran kita berbeda dari biasanya. Kita akan mendengar cerita tentang suatu tempat yang sangat terkenal di Australia, yaitu Sydney Harbour. Sebenarnya, Chris dan Iwanlah yang akan bercerita tentang tempat ini kepada kita. Hari ini hari Jumat, dan karena universitas sedang libur, mereka tidak kuliah. Mereka sedang berpikir-pikir apa yang akan mereka lakukan. Coba dengarkan.
What'll we do today, Iwan? I'd like to do something really interesting.
So would I. What about a trip on the harbour?
That isn't very interesting. The harbour's just a lot of water with a bridge across it.
It's a very famous bridge, though. When did they build it?
I'm not sure.
By the way, Chris, who looks after all the ships in the harbour? You know, who says when the ships can enter the harbour and who tells them where to go?
I don't know. I think it's the Maritime Services Board or something.
Who discovered Sydney Harbour anyway?
I can answer that. Captain Cook passed by the harbour in 1770, but he didn't sail into it. Captain Arthur Phillip discovered it in 1788. He had 11 ships. He came from England, you know. He really started Sydney. He thought the harbour was great.
So do I. Chris, could we spend the day finding out about the harbour? Could we find out something about it?
Yes. That's a good idea. You know, Iwan, I've lived in Sydney all my life and I don't know much about the harbour. Let's go. Let's find out what really goes on around the harbour.
Jadi, hari ini Chris dan Iwan akan mencari keterangan tentang Sydney Harbour. Saudara kami ajak untuk ikut bersama mereka. Pertama-tama, kita akan mengunjungi The Maritime Services Board, suatu badan yang mirip dengan Direktorat Perhubungan Laut di Indonesia. Coba dengarkan. Chris dan Iwan masuk ke kantor hubungan masyarakat dari badan tersebut.
Yes? Can I help you?
Good morning. My name's Chris Scott. This is my friend Iwan from Indonesia.
Pleased to meet you. What can I do for you?
I'm an Australian, and I've lived in Sydney all my life, but I don't know much about Sydney Harbour and what goes on here.
No, it's a funny thing. People don't know a lot about the harbour.
We thought we'd spend the day finding out about it. Can you tell us, for instance, what the Maritime Services Board does?
I certainly can. First, I can give you some pamphlets about the board. Here you are.
Thanks a lot. Can we keep these pamphlets? They look interesting.
Yes, you can keep them. There's a lot of information there. You'll probably find the answer to all your questions. Take them home with you and read them later. Now I'll tell you a bit about what the board does.
Pegawai The Maritime Services Board itu akan menerangkan tugas-tugas badan tersebut kepada Chris dan Iwan. Dia mengatakan bahwa badan itu mengawasi dan memelihara semua dermaga dan fasilitas-fasilitas pelabuhan lainnya, seperti misalnya jalur pelabuhan. Badan tersebut melaksanakan peraturan-peraturan pelayaran, baik bagi kapal-kapal dagang maupun kapal-kapal penumpang dan pesiar. The Maritime Services Board mempunyai menara pengawas setinggi 84 meter di dekat Sydney Harbour Bridge. Dari atas menara itu, dapat dilihat sebagian besar Sydney Harbour. Pegawai yang bertugas di atas menara memberitahu kapan kapal-kapal dapat masuk atau keluar pelabuhan, dan di mana kapal-kapal tersebut berlabuh kalau masuk ke pelabuhan. Sekarang, coba saudara dengarkan pertanyaan Chris dan Iwan.
Where does the board get its money from?
Well, you see, all ships have to pay money to come into the harbour, and they have to pay to use the wharves.
Do they pay anything for the cargo?
Oh, yes. The shipping companies have to pay per ton of cargo, and the board charges rates for other things too.
What about keeping the harbour clean? Who looks after that?
The board does that too. We check on oil pollution, and we have small rubbish boats on the harbour. We collect rubbish from the shores and take it away. We also have special firefighting boats. Sometimes there are fires on the wharves or on a ship.
What about the tides? Who measures the high and low tides every day?
We measure the tides at Fort Denison.
Is that the island near the bridge? It's got an old stone building on it, hasn't it?
Yes, that's right. That's Fort Denison. Have you ever been there, Chris?
No, I haven't, as a matter of fact.
Why don't you and Ewan go and have a look at it? The tourist ferry's going to leave in half an hour. There's room on it for both of you. It's a very interesting visit. As a matter of fact, I have to go to see the caretaker there, so I'll come with you. I can tell you all about the fort on the way.
Great! Let's go!
Saudara pendengar, Chris dan Iwan sedang menuju ke Fort Denison di Sydney Harbour. Fort Denison adalah suatu benteng kuno yang terbuat dari batu dan didirikan di atas sebuah pulau kecil dekat kota Sydney. Ketika Australia mula-mula menjadi jajahan Inggris, beberapa orang narapidana ditempatkan di pulau itu dan diberi persediaan makanan sekali seminggu. Benteng ini dibangun sebagai pertahanan terhadap kemungkinan serangan musuh. Tetapi untunglah hal itu tidak pernah terjadi. Dan sekarang benteng tersebut dipakai untuk mengukur pasang surutnya air laut. Pada malam hari, kedua lampu di mercusuarnya menyala. Dan apabila ada kabut tebal, maka terdengarlah bunyi sirene tanda adanya kabut tersebut. Saudara pendengar, saat ini Chris, Iwan, serta pegawai The Maritime Services Board tadi naik kapal tambang menuju ke Fort Denison. Coba dengarkan percakapan mereka.
You know, the best way to learn about the harbour is to go on it, like this, in a boat. Then you can watch what's happening. You see that big ship? The one just coming out from the wharf? Well, that's a big cruise ship. It's going on a 10-day cruise in the Pacific.
And what do you call those smaller boats?
Those are called tugs.
Oh, tugs.
Yes, they push the big ships out from the wharf. See? They're helping that ship to turn around. Yes, there it goes. Now, before we get there, let me tell you something about Fort Denison. It's a small stone... Here we are. Ah, there's Jim. He's the caretaker. He'll show you around the fort. Just go along with the others.
Aren't you coming too?
I've seen the fort hundreds of times. I'll wait for you here at the ferry. I've got a message for Jim. I'll see him later. Did you have a good time?
It was marvellous.
What did you see?
We went inside the tower, and we saw the room near the tower, the place where they measure the tides.
And we saw the well. It's over 40 meters deep.
Yes, I know.
Jim, the caretaker, told us he doesn't use the water from the well now, not in the house. But he uses the well water for the garden.
Jim must be busy. He has to show the tourists around and keep the tide records and look after the garden.
I'm glad you enjoyed the visit. Why don't you go to see the water police now?
The water police? What do they do?
Go and ask them.
Where can we find the water police?
I'll show you when we get back.
And thanks for all your help.
That's okay. Don't forget to read the pamphlets. There's a lot more information in them.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Saudara pendengar, saat ini Chris dan Iwan berada di markas besar polisi laut. Mereka telah memberitahu sersan di kantor tersebut apa maksud kedatangannya. Dan sersan itu pun mengantar mereka melihat kapal-kapal yang dipakai oleh polisi laut.
There they are. We've got 6 big boats here, and those other small ones.
That's a big one.
Yes, we use that one at sea for search and rescue work.
You mean when a boat's missing?
That's right. Out at sea, we use these smaller boats for harbour patrols.
What does that mean?
I'm going out now with a couple of men. Would you like to come too? Then you'll see what we do.
Can we?
I'll have to get permission to take you. Wait here while I ring up.
Gee, Chris, this is exciting.
I wonder if they want a couple of good engineers in the water police, Iwan.
It's okay. Let's go. Follow me down these steps. This is a regular patrol of the harbour. We'll go up around the wharves first. When we go on a patrol like this, we look at all the ships and the wharves.
What are you looking for?
We just look to make sure everything's okay. Sometimes there's a fire on a wharf or on a boat, and we have to tell the Maritime Services Board. When there's an accident on the water, we have to help. Sometimes we have a diver with us, but we don't need one today.
What do the divers do?
Oh, they look for things under the water. Stolen cars, dead bodies.
Dead bodies?
That's right. People fall into the water, or sometimes they jump in. Or perhaps someone murders them and throws the body in the water.
Gosh! Does this happen often?
Oh, no. Not very often.
Can this boat go very fast?
Yes, but we don't go fast unless there's an emergency.
Calling VXF 117.
Hang on. That sounds like a call for me on the radio.
Calling VXF 117. Calling VXF 117. Is that you, Sergeant Cooper?
Cooper here.
There's been an accident on a ship. A man's fallen overboard. They've picked him up, but I'd like you to get him to shore as quickly as possible.
Right.
We'll have an ambulance waiting.
Right. What ship is it?
It's the Southern Enterprise.
I know where it is. I'll get the man to the ambulance in 5 minutes. I can see it. Okay.
Is it that big black ship?
Yes.
Can we help?
No. I'll take the boat up to the Southern Enterprise, and my men will go aboard and get the injured man. Here we are. Right, you two. I'll wait here on the boat. Be as quick as you can. The ambulance will be waiting.
I wonder if the man's badly hurt.
We'll soon know. Here they come now.
The man's on a stretcher.
Yes, he doesn't look too good. Put him down there. I'll let them know we're coming. Hello? Sergeant Cooper here. We're on our way.
Good. The ambulance is waiting. What's the matter with him?
He's got a broken leg. And he was in the water for about half an hour before they found him.
I'll tell the ambulance.
That was exciting, wasn't it? I must write and tell my family I've been out on the harbor with the water police.
Don't forget to tell them we rescued someone.
I hope the man will be all right.
He must be in hospital by now. The guy in the ambulance said he'd be okay. What'll we do now, Iwan?
I'm hungry.
So am I. Let's have lunch. I've got a good idea. Let's have lunch at the Opera House.
Won't it be expensive there?
No. There's a cheap restaurant in front of the Opera House. It's right on the harbour. I went there once with Lucia.
I've never been inside the Opera House. Have you?
I've been to a couple of films there. Perhaps we can have a look at it after lunch. Let's eat first, eh?
This is a great place for lunch, Chris.
Yes. You can see all the boats going past. I like the old ferries. There's the hydrofoil. And there are some fishing boats. And there's a big cruise ship and...
Saudara pendengar, sesudah makan siang, Chris dan Iwan mengikuti tur berkeliling di Opera House.
Iwan, come over here. The tour's going to start now.
All right, I was just looking in the water.
What were you looking for? Bodies?
No, I was looking for fish. It's a good place to fish, isn't it?
Yes. Ah, here's our guide.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sydney Opera House. Before we begin our tour, I want to tell you about this beautiful building. Let's go outside so we can look at it while I talk. The Opera House covers about 1.82 hectares. It's 183 meters long, 118 meters wide, and the highest point is 67 meters above sea level. Now we'll all go inside. I want to show you the concert hall first. We're lucky today because the Sydney Symphony Orchestra is rehearsing. If we go in quietly, we'll be able to listen to the orchestra for a few minutes.
I've never heard a symphony orchestra.
Shh! Here we are.
the concert hall. Did you notice the beautiful ceiling?
How many people can sit there?
2,690. Now we'll go to the opera theatre. About 1,500 people can sit there. Now we'll go outside again. If you've got any questions, I'll try to answer them.
I know you have opera and concerts and plays at the Opera House. What else happens here?
Oh, lots of things. We have a lot of different concerts, of course, and different kinds of music. We have films and variety shows. Sometimes there are lectures and art exhibitions.
And ballet?
Yes, we have ballet. And lots of people just come here to walk around and look at the building and at the harbour.
I'm interested in the roof, the sails.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yes, they are. But I'm interested in how they built them. There were big engineering problems, weren't there?
Yes, there were. It was very complicated. You can buy a small book at the shop. It'll tell you about the roof.
Is there a shop in the Opera House too?
Yes, we're going there now. The shop sells books about the Opera House and all sorts of souvenirs.
I think I'll buy the book. I want to know a lot of things about the building.
I think you have to be an engineer to understand it.
Well, I'm not an engineer yet, but I will be soon.
And where do you come from?
I'm from Indonesia. I'm studying engineering too. I'd like to thank you for the visit. It's been very interesting.
Not at all.
Saudara pendengar, Chris dan Iwan sepanjang hari itu telah menyaksikan berbagai hal yang menarik. Dan saat ini, mereka dalam perjalanan pulang naik bis.
I certainly know a lot more about the harbor now, Chris.
So do I. But, of course, we haven't had a look at everything.
We've seen a lot.
Yes, but we didn't walk across the bridge.
I've done that.
Have you? When?
On my first day in Sydney, I'd always wanted to walk across the bridge. I'd seen pictures of it in Indonesia, but I don't know much about it, when they built it and so on.
We'll have to have another day looking around the harbour. We'll find out about the bridge.
And we'll go to the zoo again.
Yes, and we'll go on a lot of ferry trips.
Perhaps we can go out on a fishing boat one day.
That's a good idea. I'd like to go and have a look at the wharves, too.
And there are other islands on the harbour, aren't there? Besides Fort Denison?
Oh, yes. There are several islands. We can visit them.
It's certainly a wonderful harbour.
Yes. We're lucky here in Sydney. Ah, well, here we are. I hope Mum's got dinner ready. I'm hungry.
Saudara pendengar, saya harap saudara puas dengan kunjungan kita ke Sydney Harbour tadi. Sekian untuk hari ini, dan jangan lupa bacalah part 1 dari pelajaran berikutnya, yaitu nomor 79. Dan sekarang, goodbye listeners.